Same
so
thing.
quick.
It's and now we've got the humidity back.
Well, plus have to be careful when I walk Charlie.
You gotta be
Because
careful.
the ground is hot. Like, there's a lot of grass by me, thank goodness.
So you have to be careful, though, because he's black.
Yeah.
And the sun just...
And he likes to go out there and
I know.
just lay in it.
Inky did too, but it's not good for them.
How you doing, Ed?
I second it's hot.
Yes, I second. And that's all I got to say today. So I want to give a shout out to our newest listeners. We have Emery in St. Pete, Haley in Seminole, and Chris in Largo.
Welcome.
And like I say, there's always plenty of room around the Connecting Caregivers table for more listeners, whether you listen when we're live on the show or on Facebook or YouTube or wherever the heck else we are.
Do you remember that I say welcome every week? I remember to.
So far, so good. Just like you said to me right before the show starts, you need to push that button, Linda. I'm like, oh, thank you. Well, thank you very much. Because two heads are definitely better than one, especially when you're aging. So, yeah. So I'm very excited to say that we've picked a winner for the caregiver contest. Her name is Jane Michaels, and she will be on this show next Friday.
In the studio?
In the studio.
Oh, I won't be here.
Oh well.
She get on my chair.
Yeah, she can have your
Wish her
chair.
well.
So, she takes care of her mother, who has Alzheimer's. She did take care of her dad, but her dad passed away about 6 months ago. She was taking care of both of her parents. So she said, this is kind of a piece of cake with only one after having two.
And one is tough. I can't imagine two.
God bless her. So will be very exciting. So if you know another fabulous caregiver, and you all know a fabulous caregiver, go to lindaburhans.com and enter them in the contest. Every single person that's entered receives a gift from me. And then every quarter we pick out one big winner, and it's just random because you're all winners to us. And you're going to get some respite care and a facial and a massage and a haircut and a bunch of gift cards to Amazon and Walmart and whatever other swag people give us. We never know what else is going to be in there. But please just go and register somebody. Just nominate them, because we forget about the caregivers. It's always like, how's dad doing? How's mom doing? How's your husband doing? Well, how's the caregiver doing? And every single person that gets nominated is like, woohoo, somebody thought about me. Somebody thought about me. And since every single person that's nominated gets a little gift, please do it. It's going to take you like 2 minutes. 2 minutes to do it. And just arriving in the studio is my friend Sean Scott.
Arriving in the studio, Sean Scott.
How are you today?
I'm doing absolutely
you
fabulous.
You have new glasses.
We got a new hairdo.
Yeah, new hairdo. Yeah,
new
spiky
hairdo.
thing. This took 5 years off my life, as in 5 years younger, not 5 years older. And I thought I'd go a little stylish with the glasses today.
Me too.
Yeah, it's very nice.
What the heck?
You gotta change it up. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. 100%. How you guys doing today?
We're doing great.
Yeah, looking good, feeling good.
Yeah,
excellent.
So we were just talking about the caregiver conference, and now we have is Joanna on the line?
I am.
Hi, Joanna. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Joyful and grateful. So Joanna and I have met on LinkedIn, which is a fabulous platform for me to hook up with other people that do fabulous caregiving things, because I'm not the only girl on the block. And so she has a company, Puzzled Mind and Body, and she's a dementia consultant. So can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and about your up-and-coming event?
Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you for having me. So I am actually a nurse, a registered nurse, but I am a transformative nurse coach. That I work with individuals to help them achieve like their personal growth and self-care needs. My background is a registered nurse, but I do work with people with dementia. I also have I'm a dementia care manager.
Mm-hmm.
So I work holistically with everyone and try to navigate the challenges that they have and create a special plan for that particular person and family on a regular basis.
Because sometimes we just need a guide. We need someone to guide us.
Yes. And sometimes, I hold your hand along the way until you're ready to let go. And so that's what I do. I integrate meditation, yoga, Reiki, and then some transformational techniques just to help with life challenges and find balance.
Have you ever helped clients that actually have dementia with Reiki?
I have actually. I've done it working in a facility and also as a caregiver myself. That I've had that in the background. So I have done it many times, and it's different for everyone. I see the difference. Some people, they're like, "Oh my God, it feels so good," and they say that it feels good, and they're like, "I don't know, I feel different. Something's going on. Your hand feels really good." And other times, I say they just fall asleep. But then they have like a calmer day.
Yeah, I remember one of my caregivers years ago. She was taking care of her husband with Parkinson's, and she had somebody come in and do Reiki on her husband. She said it just made him so much more peaceful.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
They have a much better day usually when they have that. I like to teach caregivers every so often. I hold the course on how to do it so that they can do it for their loved ones as well. So I do teach that also.
Oh, that's fabulous. So tell us about this event that you have coming up.
Oh, this event. So the event is called Facing Guilt and Finding Grace, and it's for compassionate care for dementia caregivers. It is going to be a virtual workshop. However, the reason why I decided to come up with this is because I've had a few clients lately during my coaching sessions that have said things out loud and then feel guilty about what they said to me. And I make them sure and reassure them that this is normal and for them not to feel guilty about this. And these thoughts happen to everybody. It's just some of us have courage to say it out loud while other ones hold it in. And it just so happens that in some support groups that I was in, I saw that as well. People will say really outlandish things and people will be like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that." And again, I will send a message like, "It's okay. This is fine. Like, this is normal and it's good. Get it out there. Well, this is what this is for."
I remember years ago I was doing a support group and two sisters used to come. And I remember them blurting out at the group, "I wish the Lord would just take my mom."
Yep.
And someone else in the group said, "I feel the same way." And they could at least have that conversation.
Yeah. And some of us are scared to say that, and that's okay. But my job is to help you get it out and face it and really learn how to deal with it and find compassion for yourself and for your loved ones.
Yeah.
So that's what this workshop is for. It's on June 19th. It's just a 2-hour workshop. And it's really going to be very interactive. We're going to have scenarios, some strategies to work through, start practicing on communication skills.
Okay, and so where can people register for this?
Oh, everybody can go to my website, which is Puzzled Minds, PUZZLEDMIN.org. And once they go there, they could go to offerings, and all my offerings are there. They can register there.
That's so wonderful. What's the last thing you would like our caregivers to hear today?
Oh my God, just remember to breathe and find compassion.
Breathe.
It's going to be okay.
Breathing's very good.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for being with us, Johanna, today. I really appreciate you. And we'll talk more about an extended interview on another show. But I will put all your information in the show for anyone that's interested.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much. Have a delicious day.
You too.
Thank you. So, Sean.
Hello. Welcome.
So we have you for the whole show.
Oh, my gosh. Excellent. What would we ever talk about?
Well, this is, I think, the first thing we're going to talk about. So somebody sent me an email after the conference and said the conference was great, blah, 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 blah.
Amazing conference. Amazing.
Thank you. And she said, still trying to figure out how Medicaid works with a VA pension. At a recent seminar, Sean Scott suggested that we can have both programs in place. I don't get it.
Well, it's different pots or buckets of money, so to speak, and you can pull from different ones depending upon your actual circumstances. VA and Medicaid are two different programs, and if you meet the requirements for both, you can pull money out of both of them to help pay for the cost of care. So
it is possible to have both.
It is, but VA gets a little complicated because on the VA side, you have things like a VA pension, for example. You have a program called aid and attendance.
Right.
Aid and attendance, such a weird word. And then you have
Because it sounds military.
well, aid and
Yeah.
attendance. Yeah,
Attendance.
I've never really researched how they came up with that word.
We
There's got
should
to
do that.
there's got to be a good story there.
Yeah.
But there's also a program for vets that are service-connected disabled, for example, better than 70%. So there's a couple of different VA buckets that you can pull from. But a kind of a typical case, I'll have a person that's in an assisted living facility, for example.
Mm-hmm.
They have only so much limited income to pay for the cost of that facility. Medicaid's going to come in and help pay maybe $1,500 a month towards the assisted living facility. Different in how it pays in a nursing home, by the way. But between their income and that $1,500 a month that they're kind of getting from Medicaid, they're still short. But lo and behold, they served in the military. They served during a period of war.
Right.
They don't have to be disabled.
They didn't have to be in the war just during the period.
In the war, as I like to say, they can be peeling potatoes at the Pentagon.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter as long as they were in service during that
war.
wartime period.
Or your spouse was.
Well, I'll talk about the spouse in a second. So in this aid and attendance thing, you can be, the VA will help pay for your unreimbursed medical expenses up to, let's say, about $2,200 a month or so,
Okay.
give or take some change, on top of the $1,500 that you're getting from Medicaid, and then add your income into that. And now by pulling from all these three things, your income, Medicaid, and VA, you can get across the gap and afford the cost of that care. So that's an
affordable.
example of getting VA benefits and Medicaid at the same time. But if you're a spouse of a vet, that's a little bit of a different animal. If your veteran husband or wife is alive, then you as a non-service
Nothing.
spouse, you don't have anything.
Right.
So you only get a ability to access those veteran aid and attendance benefits if your veteran spouse has died and you were a widow.
Okay.
Right.
So, and then the benefits are cut by about half. So there's still money that's there. It's just not quite the same.
Yeah, it might be
amount of cash.
$1,400 a month
Correct.
or $1,200 a month, but
Correct.
still,
But still,
Everything helps.
every little bit helps.
$1,200 because you get somebody in for home health for a couple of days.
Yeah,
You know,
and exactly. And that's the challenge here when we're adding new care into our system, into our situation. That care comes at a cost, and how are we going to pay for it?
right.
So there's many different ways of doing that. And so you can, again, combine VA and Medicaid. However, let's compare it to something else. Let's say you are a vet and you are a better than 70% service-connected disabled.
Okay.
Okay. So you're disabled and it's connected to your service and it's greater than 70% rating. In that case, VA comes in, and let's look at the nursing home, for example. VA is going to pay for all your nursing home care. You don't need Medicaid.
Oh.
So that service-connected disability
Right.
is going to get you full coverage, basically, to pay for that long-term care in a nursing home. So there's no reason to double dip in that situation,
Right.
because if you want to
It's
call
covered.
it double dipping, because you're already covered with the VA
Right.
side. So that's why the interaction of these programs, it can be a little not complex, but really depending upon what programs you're talking about.
And then I had another question from a listener. So, can someone all right, so I'm taking care of my husband and he's a vet. Can I get reimbursed for taking care of my husband?
Not in Florida through Medicaid. That's not an option.
Okay.
I believe that may be an option in some other states. I've read articles about that, but I don't play in those sandboxes, so I can't really
Well, it's
tell
not
you.
here, right?
But it's not here, right? Not in
Right.
Florida. So.
Yeah. Which it should be.
Well, yeah, we're dealing with this currently in our family right now, and the brother's taking care of mom, who's 99 years old, and her care needs are increasing monthly. And we're getting to the point where, because he's in that picture, she's stable, and where she's at, she doesn't have to go to an assisted living facility or a nursing home. But he's kind of Johnny on the spot.
Exactly.
And he's having to be on the spot a whole lot more.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, he's still working, and that's part of his economics in his world. And he's now can't work like that.
As much as he could, right?
And cutting way, way back. And that's creating a financial stress on him in the situation. And so, it would be awfully nice if we could compensate him to do that. I'm going to pay for Billy Joe or Bobby Sue to come in as a home healthcare worker to do that,
Right.
but I can't pay him to do that. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't make sense.
But you could pay him to do that. If somebody says, I want to help my brother-in-law or whoever it is in this caregiving situation, because lots of times we don't think about that. You're like, oh, Jimmy, he makes a lot of money, he has a really good job, he can help out with mom. Yeah. And then it increases and increases and increases.
And next thing you know, you're kind of underwater and you're carrying all the weight, and your siblings are saying, well, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of a hollow thank you in a sense.
And let's split the will down the middle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've never heard these problems before. Very, very common. So, the family can come together, and, in the situation, they can come together and look at how can we spell him? How can we, step up to the plate and add on our time into that situation? And then even at some point in time, well, how can we help financially contribute? Because you're making this sacrifice.
Right.
How can, for example,
can we just pay some for
I can't be there, and during the day because I'm maxed out from like 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock every day in the office. So I'm not an option, but my wife perhaps can go and do some things. So you kind of get a little creative, and we can pay him. We can help contribute to that, but Medicaid's not going to do it.
So that's a family issue, and that's something you need to.
Yeah, I thought they did.
Yeah, it's something you need to be cognizant of. What people in your life.
If anybody knows that you can do that, please let me know. I'd like to know. I'm not saying they can't, but boy, if they can, I can use that benefit.
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't know if anyone would know. I just, for some reason, thought you could.
Well, in some states you can. Yeah, that is the deal. In some states you can. To my best knowledge, I don't believe in Florida you can do that.
No, I haven't seen anything yet.
Gotcha.
That's why I asked you.
Yep. This is the challenge of long-term care and paying for it is monumental, and it's absolutely frightening to see my clients on a daily basis run up against this problem of, not only are we now taking care of our person, our loved one, right, our mom or our spouse or our sibling, and so here we are doing and taking care of them, and that can be very, very difficult. The caregiving journey is not easy,
right? And
then also to see this person, let's say, declining over time, and 2 years ago everything was perfectly fine. A year ago, not so bad. Today,
it's a mess.
Oh my God,
sneaks up.
The emotional and the psychological issue of dealing with that.
Please.
And then on top of all that, let's put a cherry of how you're going to pay $12,000 a month for the nursing home.
I know.
I mean, at some point in time, you just got to, break. Yeah. And I see these people daily going through this, and my heart just absolutely goes out to them. And one of the beautiful things of what I do for a living is I get to fix that problem.
Yeah.
So that's very, very, it's a strange job I have, but it's a very rewarding one.
One thing off my list so I can sleep tonight.
Exactly.
When I came a couple of weeks ago with my stepmother to do those papers. Oh my God, Sean. It was like, I can sleep tonight. She can sleep tonight. Yeah. It's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. I mean, you have all these things on your mind and you try your best to suppress them, and maybe you're not consciously thinking about them all the time, but your subconscious is.
Oh my God.
And 100% it is. And when you pull that splinter out, so to speak, if you want to use that metaphor, the relief that you can get from that is again monumental as well.
But it's working with you, it's easy to pull the splinter out.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Like, just come. We were just talking about it this morning in my support group. I have to tell you, one of my caregivers was in Nepal.
Oh, yeah.
And meets a guy from Florida.
Right.
And gave him your card.
That's funny.
I was like, yeah. I got the out-of-country referral to Sean Scott.
I just had a client, actually, that was trekking through the Himalayas in Nepal. Just last week, and she was a very interesting woman and just very, very cool. And I was like, you were where? Oh yeah, well, we went to China and we were there. I'm like, what were you doing? Well, kind of doing the Buddhist temple thing and hanging out. How long were we there? Oh yeah, well, at least 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. And I was like, wow,
nice,
crazy.
Nice.
Yeah, I just go to Antarctica,
Yeah. Well, this is the gal I'm going to Egypt with.
Oh, fabulous. Excellent.
So, but she's like, yeah, we love Sean Scott. She heads up the 911 calls in Pinellas County.
Oh, wow. Excellent. Really cool.
And I want to be best friends with somebody like that because I want to know what community you get the most.
I know a person.
Yeah. But it's a good information to have.
No,
but I will tell you, with the Falls Prevention Coalition, the calls in Pinellas County from January to now are down 50 calls.
Yeah.
And the population has increased 10,000.
Yeah. Amazing.
That is huge.
Yeah, it's huge. We say in the office that eventually gravity is going to get you.
Yeah.
Right. But we don't want it to get you in that way that compromises your ability to take care of yourself.
Exactly.
Again, we're talking about, mom's kind of on my mind right now, obviously. And she was at home yesterday and she was in the bedroom and she was moving around and she kind of backed up over this little hassock thing and she went down. Now, she kind of, interestingly enough, the hassock that tripped her, she kind of plopped down on top of it, but then just kept on going backwards and kind of was now,
fell down.
Turtle, up to legs in the air kind of thing. And it was, nobody got hurt, thank goodness. But that's what we're all living in fear of, is that something like that where gravity intercedes. And the next thing we go from pretty okay to now with a broken hip or broken shoulder. Now we're in the hospital. Now we're in the nursing home. And
now all of a sudden, maybe we need to look at our surroundings, that it was okay for mom last month.
Exactly. So fall prevention is literally in my life. Yeah. It's personally.
Yeah. The fall can be the end.
Yep.
But right now it's time to hear from our wonderful partners. So you know the deal. If you don't hear from them, you don't hear from me. So don't go away. We'll be right back on Connecting Caregivers Radio.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Arden Courts is not just a place to live. It's a place to call home. Residential living combined with quality caregiving. This is the philosophy behind Arden Courts. Communities created exclusively for individuals with Alzheimer's disease and related dementia who would benefit from a safe and structured environment. For additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides, call 888-478-2410 to locate a community nearest you. Inquire about our educational seminars, resource library, or support groups, or simply feel free to ask questions you may have about Alzheimer's and related dementias. At Arden Courts, we know, we understand, and we can help because memory care is all we do. Remember, call 888-478-2410 for additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides.
Sean W. Scott has been practicing elder law and qualifying clients for Medicaid for over 30 years. While his practice is in all areas of estate planning, such as durable power of attorney, healthcare surrogates, and wills, he also prides himself on having a 100% accuracy rate on getting clients approved for Medicaid. Why Medicaid, you may ask? Do you want to pay up to $16,000 a month for a nursing home should the time come? Obviously, no one wants to have to endure this cost. So even though you may have planned well for retirement, the reality is things happen. Planning ahead is never too soon. You need to make sure your income and assets are protected so that you can take care of you and your loved ones. Florida law is very specific on how and what is protected and how to protect it. Give Sean a call. He can help. 727-539-0181. That's 727-539-0181.
My mom was getting older, but she was able to live pretty independently until recently. When her case manager told me she would be discharged from rehab in just a few days, I didn't know what to do. But I knew for sure that she couldn't go back living alone at home. So that's when I contacted Sunway's Senior Living Concierge. My Senior Living Concierge, Lisa, was there for me through the whole process and was a free service for us to compare in-home care options and how that cost would compare to assisted living. With Lisa's help, we found a great new home for mom, and she is thriving. Take it from me. Don't go through this journey alone.
Hi, I'm Ellie Baldwin, co-founder and president of Sunway's Senior Living Concierge. We're a free placement and concierge service for families to help compare senior living communities and find the best place for you or a loved one. Call us today at 727-314-6451 or find us online at sunwayseniorliving.com.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
I love eliminating.
And we're back.
And we are back.
We're back. Hey,
we can start chatting here.
Yeah, just chatting.
Chatting. So
Life
if anybody has a question for Sean, please feel free to call in at 727-441-3000. That's 727-441-3000. So we were talking about a little bit about the fall stuff.
Right.
As we speak, there are guys ripping out my bathtub.
Oh, wow.
And my toilet, I'm getting a new bathroom.
Good. You can do it like a walk-in type thing?
Yeah. Because I can't be preaching to everybody else.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay. So they give you that little corner bench,
Right.
or that little flop down bench. I'm like, no, I want a marble bench, 4 feet by whatever, and it's
Who knows how big a butt you're going to have?
tall enough for me.
I understand, but Linda, I only have one question.
What?
Is there room for 2?
Maybe, I don't know. I told him there has to be room for my walker. It's what I told him.
Okay.
The guy looks at me and I said, I don't have a walker yet, but I might one day. And if I do, it's going to be a big Cadillac walker, not a little wimpy walker.
But the best thing is, I went with Lenny just to look at tiles. She's been going back and forth. But I have the high toilets because, mobile homes have low one, but I have the high.
Right.
She's getting
now
like one
they
on.
have a higher one.
Higher.
I'm like,
so we have actually step ladders next to the ones in our house. Well, I am 6'6".
Exactly.
So that's it.
Most people are like, okay, where's the grappling hook? How do I get up here?
Yeah, how do you sit down? Well, somebody said to me, if I go in your new bathroom and sit on the toilet, my feet are going to be dangling. I said, go in the other bathroom. That's my bathroom.
But I thought the other ones were fabulous. That one.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm getting my little bidet and.
Oh, very nice.
Well,
very
you
nice.
know what?
Those things always scare me, man.
Well,
I'm traveling through Europe, and I'm like, I don't know what the heck is that thing? How do you use it?
My mother went to Europe.
Is a lot of people as they get older get UTIs.
Oh yeah, it's a huge
because
issue.
they're not
clean,
doing as good as they. And I'm good now.
Hygiene's important. Yeah,
I'm good now, but one day I might need a little assistance.
Well, my mom went to England. There was bidets in all the bathrooms and that, and she said, Linda, it was so nice. They had little sinks to wash your underwear out.
Exactly. I mean, that's the point.
I went, oh, good, Mom.
I know. First time I ever saw a bidet, I was on my honeymoon. I was like 23 years old in Paris.
Yeah, you see over there, they all have them.
Yeah. So when we got back from our European trips, because my daughter was over there recently, she just came back. I'm not sure if I told you, she's back in the States now.
Living here now?
Yeah, she's living here now. So
nice.
she just changed her duty station from Naples, Italy to Maryland. So that's cool.
Much closer, yeah.
But so we were going over to see her a lot, and of course there's bidets, and my girl Diane. Okay, she's like, oh, I really love these things. We need to get these things. And well, our little bathrooms in our condo, there's no place to put them, all right, unless you revision the entire bathroom. So we retrofitted all of ours. There's a retrofit kit that you can make the current existing
toilet
you have, and you can add a bidet to it without having to put a whole bidet toilet in. There's a thing that
isn't it cool? And you can have one that warms the water, or doesn't warm the water, or
I know we're here to talk about caregiving, but this is important.
It is important.
It actually is.
The tall toilets are important. When I moved into my mobile home, I went to sit down and I thought I nearly was going to break my neck because I was not used to that.
Fall. But it's important. And I really think, I can't tell you how relieved I will feel because the tub is gone and I can just walk
Correct.
I mean, I have a second bathroom with a tub if I want a tub, but.
You're lucky you have
an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Yeah. And just the point of wanting to shower more, because if it gets to be uncomfortable for you, or you're afraid you're going to fall, or you're afraid you're going to trip, then people are showering less, and that leads to how many other problems?
The UTIs and everything else.
Whatever else.
And and when we're actually not kidding, I mean, that UTI thing is a huge issue. You wouldn't think it would be, but it does become one. And in my case, a lot of my clients are dealing with cognitive issues,
right?
And related to their brain and the ability to deal with memory and just cognitive across the board. And a lot of times when we see some sort of precipitous decline in their capabilities, daughter comes in, oh my God, mom's losing her mind. We got to do something.
In the past week.
Right. In the past week. And so she's kind of in this crisis mode. And while we're not medical doctors, we're juris doctors, not medical doctors. We see a lot of these things, and routinely we go, hey, did you check for a UTI?
Exactly.
And they come back like, how did you know?
Just because we know.
Because I've seen it hundreds and hundreds of times.
I can't tell you so many times the caregivers in my support group, their loved one already has dementia. And they're like, mom's crashing. And I'm like, does mom have a UTI?
Correct. Yeah. And I don't know how, your urinary system is connected to your neurological system, but it is 100% connected.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to affect when you're young. It only affects when you're older with cognitive.
And not being the medical doctor in the room, I just think that sometimes, especially with my cognitive clients, I mean, their brain is kind of in a very fragile state. There's not a lot of redundancy left anymore, and so
stick something in there.
It just could stir a little something in there, and it's catastrophic. But if you're 20, you're just Mr. Redundant. All right,
Yeah,
you have all kinds of backup.
Yeah.
But not when you're 89.
And plus, your whole body has more.
Correct. Yeah.
More capabilities. All right. So I got a email from a caregiver, and she said, "So my granddaughter just got married and has no documents. Can you tell me step by step the first document she should get, the second? What's the most important?"
Oh, that's a great question. And whether you just got married or, let's put it this way, if you're over 18 and breathing, all right, these are the important things you need to have from my perspective.
Right.
Okay? For example, when my son turned 18, the week that he turned 18, I had him come into the office and we did a power of attorney and a healthcare surrogate designation.
That's the first two?
That's the first two. The reason why we did that is because even though I was still his dad, I was no longer his parent. And what that means is since he was 18, he's a big boy now. He's an adult and he makes all his decisions. And I can't stand in the role of making those for him any longer. So he needed to have a backup plan because he was 18 and breathing. Now, if regardless of your age, like that point is, you need this in place if you're over 18 and breathing. That's correct. So in his particular story, interestingly enough, within a year of him signing those documents, he was in a catastrophic automobile accident going down to South Florida on Interstate 95, where he woke up upside down in a tree being cut out of the car by the fire department.
God.
They air evac him out to the Fort Pierce emergency room. He had a broken back in that situation.
And what would happen if he didn't have those
coma and it was not able to participate in his healthcare decisions, shall we say.
Can't make any decisions.
And
my decision is, can I still breathe?
And because I was his healthcare surrogate, I was first in the loop, and I was able to interface with the doctors and make these decisions for him. Not end of life necessarily, but just treatment decisions.
But who would do it?
Yeah,
if they didn't have you.
Yeah, so then you got to jump through. There's kind of a statutory scheme, a health proxy law that they can work down through in order to make those decisions. But at the time, he had two parents. We weren't married, and so now there's a question of, well, is it me making those decisions? Is it his mother making those decisions? So even though there's a health proxy situation there, it's not always the good to rely on that.
Okay.
It's way better that you just tell us who you want to make those decisions. It's not hard. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It doesn't take a lot of time. So you need to do this. Power of attorney, also wildly important. The whole idea between these two documents is to make sure that we have a backup to you so that if you can't be you, somebody can. The metaphor I use is that there's a reason why there's two seats in the front of every airplane. Okay, so you're the pilot of your life, right? You're piloting your life. You're in charge of making decisions. Well, what happens if you can't fly?
Who's your co-pilot?
Because if you can't fly, the plane crashes. I mean, this is a direct analog to what we're talking about here. And so if you don't have these two critical pieces, you're flying naked.
Yeah.
And this is not a fun experience because something comes down. I'm telling you, you can be in a world of hurt. So, my story. There's this expression that you never know when you're going to be hit by a truck.
Yeah.
All right. And that's, that means, everything's fine until bam, a truck hits you. And next thing you know, you got all kinds of new problems. So you never know when you're going to get hit by a truck. And interesting, this week was my 10-year anniversary from coming home from rehab.
Wow.
And I'm not talking alcohol rehab. I'm talking about learn how to walk and be you again type of rehab.
How long were you in there?
So about 3 months. So yeah.
But he's stubborn, which is good.
I'm stubborn. But that actually on the 4th was my 10-year anniversary of coming out of rehab. Because why was I in rehab? I got hit by a truck.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Walking across the street, got hit by a truck, took me out. Broken neck, broken back, broken ribs, broken head.
And what if you didn't have those papers?
Yeah, near-death experience. It died, went over, came back. I mean, rehab, neurointensive care, crazy sauce. And I was offline. Well, lo and behold, I have exactly the same papers I'm telling you everybody else needs. And so my brother at that time was able to slot in and be my co-pilot, including, taking care of my financial stuff, which was nice. But more importantly, talking to the neurosurgeon.
Yeah.
And Sean's in a coma.
That's a big decision.
Sean's dying. He's got his bleeding into his head. We don't know what we're going to get back because we don't know how much damage has been done. I can go in and I can fix this and probably save his life. Do you
What
want
kind of life
me
is it going to be?
to?
Yeah.
And who makes that decision? Well, in that case, my brother had this piece of paper that says, I'm that guy. Tell me what we're supposed to do. And here's the funny part about that. We think he made the right decision.
Oh, stop. He definitely made the right
But
decision.
again, I make light of it, but just it's a super serious thing.
But why do people so poo-poo just getting these damn papers?
Why
is it such a
it's like
project?
anything, it's kind of, I think human nature sometimes we're just kind of a little
I'm not going to die.
Well,
Nothing's going to happen.
That's never going to happen to me.
No, we always
right?
put everything off.
I just put things off anyways. Oh, I'll get to it. Or I don't know who to go to do this, or it costs too much money, or you make up all these things, and all these excuses.
It's just so sad to talk about, but it's not so sad to talk about. It's going to be really sad if you don't do it.
No kidding.
It's laziness.
So
I
here's
think,
something
a lot
you
of the
should
time.
not do about this power of attorney healthcare survey thing. Is go online and do it. And I'm not just trying to protect my profession here.
Right.
I'm not making my retirement off of doing your power of attorney.
Right.
Okay, it's no, that's not happening. But routinely, and actually, within the last 2 weeks, I've been seeing this one form come across my desk a lot, and I'm like, God, this thing is such a. We can say this, I think, on air.
Yeah.
It's all these POAs.
Yeah.
Okay. POA stands for power of attorney, by the way. And I'm like, what? And I'm seeing the same document coming, and it is an absolute horrendous document. It doesn't have the right words in it. It doesn't have the right powers in it. It's not initialed at all. All right. It doesn't comply with Florida law and what the statutes say it has to do. It has all these other errors in it. No backup.
And you're still paying for it.
Yeah, but and so I'm like, where the hell is this thing coming from? Right? And so I went out and started researching it and found, lo and behold, there is a website like freepowerofattorney.com or something.
Yeah.
Right. And I went to it and I'm like, okay, I found it. And I did the power of attorney and like as if I was just a regular person and hit print and out it comes. And there's the darn power of attorney that I've been seeing.
And it's not
And
good.
it's not good at all. It's worse than not good, because the person that goes out and does this, they have this false sense of security that, okay, I did it.
Yeah.
And they're real happy.
Then you did it crappy.
But they don't know.
No.
Okay. And they don't understand that that's not right. They assume it's a power of attorney. It says it right there on the document. Right. But here's why it's such a horrific thing to have this bad document is that now they are relying upon it and they're not actually going out and getting one that's the right way. And so now when it hits the fan, you can't fix this problem after the person's lost capacity. You can't go back and redo the power of attorney. So now you're off in guardianship court because that power of attorney that you got offline or online doesn't do what it's supposed to do. And guardianship, that's a huge problem. Well, it's not apparently because they're not practicing law. They're just giving you a document.
Well, it's just like, contact me and I'll get your Medicaid put through and I know it all and I'm not an attorney.
Right.
All those stories.
I'm kind of exasperated here because it's not just power of attorneys that you're getting offline or on the internet that are bad as well. This is outrageous, actually. There's about a 70% failure rate for every power of attorney that I review that a client brings in. Oh, yeah, I got that. And I'm looking at it. 70% failure rate, that they're fundamentally flawed in some way, all right, including ones done by other lawyers. So just because it was done by a lawyer, I hate to tell you this, doesn't mean it's any good.
Yeah.
That lawyer may not know a lot about incapacity. He may dabble in other, does the other things. He's a real estate guy. He's a divorce guy. He's a criminal guy. He's your friend from church. Oh yeah, I got one on my computer. Those things can be horrible as well. And I'm telling you, on a daily basis, I see at least one power of attorney that's fundamentally flawed, again, including ones done by other lawyers. So this is a horrible thing because how do you guys, like the normal, regular people out there that are not lawyers, know any better? How do you know if you have a good one or a bad one? That's a tough question for me to answer. Now, when I speak in public on this topic, I hand out this thing called the 5 and the 7s. The 5 most common mistakes and the 7 things that have to be initialed in your document.
Oh, interesting. I'd like a copy of that.
I will get you that. So that's a kind of not exhaustive, but it's something.
Yeah.
So what I do for my clients, or actually for anybody, is you can, get on my schedule, come and see me. All right. Bring your power of attorney. I'll take a look at it. We'll have a cup of coffee. I won't even charge you anything for that meeting. Just come in and let's take a look at it. And I'll tell you whether it's any good or not. And if it's good, thumbs up. Great.
Right.
And if it's not,
yeah, if it's in that
not.
70%,
well,
then we can fix it. We can make a new one.
One of the most common things I see in Florida right now is an error thing is the issue that the Florida legislature requires you, when you sign your power of attorney document, to initial 7 particular separate powers. These paragraphs that say your person can do these 7 particular things. And if you don't initial it,
it doesn't count.
Then the power's not given. And so in my world of Medicaid, for example, I use trusts in order to qualify my clients for Medicaid benefits in many of the cases.
Right.
And I need somebody to sign that trust. Well, the guy that's in the nursing home can't sign it, all right, because he's offline. So I'm going to use his power of attorney. Cool. The problem is the power of attorney has to specifically say that your backup person can create a trust. So that's problem 1. Problem 2, under the new Florida statutes, that power to create a trust is one of those 7 superpowers. And so maybe you do have the language in there. But if that paragraph that says that isn't initialed, it's not granted to your backup person, and you're out of luck again. And
who knows that? Unless you go to an attorney.
I see power of attorney documents that have the language in there, but
it's just not initialed.
None of them are initialed. And so the lawyer, what was the lawyer thinking? Not to tell the client to sign those things. I mean, not to sign, but to initial those paragraphs. I don't know. It's wild. Yeah, it's
because I think there's a lot of attorneys and they do anything that has to do with the law.
Correct. Kind of generalists, right?
Yeah. And if I'm
like a general practitioner.
If I'm going to go to the doctor because I have something wrong with me, what doctor am I going to go to?
Correct. And you could start at that general level for sure, but medical field is highly specialized.
Yeah.
There's endocrinologists, there's cardiologists, there's neurologists, there's there's all these ists. Well, don't go see your neurologist for your UTI.
Right.
Right?
Why can't you give me antibiotics?
See, that's the point. You're a doctor, aren't you?
I'll be okay.
Yeah. That's not my part of the body. Okay. And so in my world, my part of the body is dealing with older people as they're aging and all of the issues that they run into. And so I'm kind of highly focused in that area.
Yeah.
I can't do your bankruptcy. I can't do your, your DUI or your divorce or,
Right.
No, that's not what I do.
And this is what you do. So you're up on it.
Correct.
You're up when the laws change. You're up when something's different. You can tell somebody this isn't good. Maybe you need to go back to another state, whatever.
Yeah.
But everyone, just please have your documents reviewed.
Power attorney, healthcare surrogate are super important. So back to the list.
All right, well, first we have to listen to our people, and then we'll go back to the list.
Yeah. Well, I love those people.
So it's time to hear from our wonderful sponsors. We'll be right back on Connecting Caregivers Radio.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Choosing the right chiropractor is an important choice to make. Located in Seminole, the Alexander Spine Center team is trained on the latest chiropractic treatments and technologies. At Alexander Spine Center, you'll find chiropractic and physical therapy care that is safe, effective, and a natural approach to pain and other health-related issues. Chiropractic unlocks your body's potential and natural healing process to ensure your life is a healthy life. We treat clients from the womb to the tomb. Call 727-397-3000 for a free consultation today, or visit our website at www.alexanderspinecenter.com.
They take good care of me twice a week, so check them out.
Arden Courts is not just a place to live. It's a place to call home. Residential living combined with quality caregiving. This is the philosophy behind Arden Courts. Communities created exclusively for individuals with Alzheimer's disease and related dementia who would benefit from a safe and structured environment. For additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides, call 888-478-2410 to locate a community nearest you. Inquire about our educational seminars, resource library, or support groups, or simply feel free to ask questions you may have about Alzheimer's and related dementias. At Arden Courts, we know, we understand, and we can help because memory care is all we do. Remember, call 888-478-2410 for additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides.
We believe the power of the human body and mind can do amazing things, and that tapping into that power, not just tricking it with a temporary disguise, is possible. Superpatch technology uses a special pattern and vibrotactile technology to help you go from feeling blah to hurrah. Now, once the Superpatch is in contact with your skin, it triggers a neutral response in the brainstem that helps you tackle your daily problems head on. Whether you're struggling with pain, balance, stress, or focus, we have a solution that might be right for you. With Superpatch's 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Hi, this is Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for the caregivers. I started using the Liberty Patch over 3 years ago. I used to be a tripper, but since wearing the Liberty Patch, I haven't tripped once. The Liberty Patch is proven to reduce the risk of falling by up to 8 times. And as we all know, if you prevent the fall, you prevent the call. Don't wait until it's too late. Preventative solutions are the answer.
Superpatch does not claim to diagnose, treat, or cure illness. Superpatch is FDA registered. To receive 25% off your first order, go to sticktoit.info. That's sticktoit.info and learn more.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
And we are back. All right. So the first thing we need is a power of attorney.
Correct.
The second thing we need is a healthcare surrogate.
Correct.
And
usually
then-
those are done at the same time because they're both incapacity planning documents. One deals with the financial side of the coin and kind of the other one deals with the medical side of the coin.
Okay.
I don't think they should be combined. They should be two separate ones. Now, inside the healthcare surrogate, the way I do it in my practice is I also embed inside the healthcare surrogate a living will. And that's kind of important as well because the Terry Schiavo kind of mess situation, which I think all of us still remember, if you don't tell us what you want to have happen if you're in a really, really bad way medically, and there's no reasonable likelihood of you getting out of that problem, do you want us just to keep you alive forever? Or do you want us to let you go?
So when do you fill out a DNR?
That's a great question. DNR is a do not resuscitate order, DNRO.
Right.
That is usually the way is done in Florida. Is it's actually a physician's order. So it's signed by you and by your doctor.
So you don't get one when you're healthy?
You can.
It seems like people don't get it though until they're sick.
They get them in the hospital. They come around and hand them out.
They can. So do not resuscitate order is just the ultimate expression of your living will, where you're saying, listen, I already said don't keep me alive if I'm in a bad way. But now I'm telling you, don't keep me alive, period.
Yeah.
Not if I'm in a bad way or just period. Okay. So there's no trigger to this other than I'm trying to die. Then this says, do not get in my way, period. And this can be very dangerous in my opinion, because for example, I don't think it's appropriate for me and from my own personal perspective to have a do not resuscitate order for me.
Right now, right.
Yeah. If I have a heart attack right now, I want both of you guys jumping up and down on my chest because I got things to do.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm not ready to go.
I'm not ready to go. And I don't have anything else that's going on in my life.
But if you're 98?
Well, no, if I got things to do, I'm just 98. All right.
His mother's 98.
Don't be such an
live.
ageist.
Yes.
God, you're always judging me on how old I am.
So we're jealous. We're very jealous, Sean.
But seriously, so if you look at me and we change the facts here a little bit, let's say I have fully metastasized cancer, pancreatic cancer, and it's metastasized, and I am DUN done. There's no saving me at all.
And feeding tubes.
And all of this stuff. I know what's kind of possibly coming here. But if I throw a heart attack right here, right now, don't touch me, man. I'm out. I don't want to be back
Especially if I'm like really old. I don't want you beating on my chest.
Well, but at the same, it's just not an age thing, though. You know,
but
99-year-old mom does not have a do not
thing,
resuscitate order.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. So just because she's 99, so that's the living will type of thing. So if we move on past from this incapacity planning, which power of attorney, healthcare surrogate, living will, then you look at some fundamental estate planning stuff. And now it gets a little bit more complicated, wills and trusts and joint ownership and beneficiary designations. So when I say the minimum set of what you need, it's those 3 incapacity planning stuff.
Okay, but don't you need, so they said that this is a younger couple.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So don't they need a will?
All right, so let's move on to there. So when we look at, when you die, you're going to literally leave stuff behind because you can't take it with you, and we need some sort of direction from you. Hopefully, makes it better if you tell us where you want it to go and who you want to be in charge. Now, if you and I are married, both of our stuff, we own everything together. So if I die, you still own everything. So the will's not that big of a deal. But if you and I are 22 and we have a 10-month-old daughter, well, now we have a new problem in the picture. It's like, well, if both you and I check out, who's taking care of the kid, right? Who's going to step in and be the kid's parent, basically? Right. Now, that's called a guardian necessarily, but you can pick. But the way you pick is in your will. Yeah. So if you're a younger person with a child, I think that is an imperative that you have at least a simple will that names who the guardian of that kid should be.
Yeah, because we don't know what's going to happen.
Yep.
We don't know what's going to happen. What's the last thing you want our listeners to hear today?
Oh, well, how can you get more information about what I do, and especially on the Medicaid front, which is how you can use that particular public benefit program to save your life savings and help pay for the cost of care at home or assisted living or a nursing home, and give you peace of mind in that, and or solve that problem. How can you get more information on that? Well, you can call me. It's a little bit more complicated. You can come see me. We're doing live presentations every month at the local libraries in Pinellas County.
Which is all on my calendar.
Yep. And I'll be going up from here directly, actually, to one at the Largo Library. They're all at public libraries. You can also dial into our website at flmedicaid.com, which is super easy to remember. Yes. And if you go and drop in on that website, you can email us, and we'll send you my 130-page book on Medicaid planning and what it's all about, and then I'll send it to you for free.
It's a great book because you can read it and understand it.
Plain
it's not
English,
too much.
just
it's
plain
not
English,
too thick. It's just how Sean is. What you see is what you get. This is the info, and I like that because I don't want to read through all that extra stuff.
Straight up. So thanks, Linda.
Thank you. So thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. I had a few things here, but I think one is July 10th, Tam Cummings, Arden Courts. If you're interested, the information is on my website. Tune in again next week for another fabulous show. Remember, God loves you all the time, and have a delicious day.